standard language with compromise. How do you get a hold of that? It seems like it's pretty good.
Boy, it's a slippery devil, especially in a country that doesn't have a language academy, although to be fair to those countries, mostly we end up ignoring those language academies. The French love to say stuff about the French academy and then they don't do anything. The Spanish make fun of them as a bunch of old guys and so forth. But I think that this is a kind of a joke, but I think there's some seriousness to it. The best way to identify standard English in America is that language which has no glaring non-standard features in it. So a negative definition is better than a positive definition. And then, of course, it'll have to be regionally defined. I would say, since I'm a sociolinguist, that we have a much better handle on it, and that's the speech of upper middle class people in whatever region you're in. It seems to me to be a straightforwardly class-related matter. That dialect, whatever it is sometimes, however, at odds with stuff that's in grammar books and so forth at the national level, but I think those things are largely ignored. They're so conservative that you still find stuff in grammar books. I mean, so you still find as big as, but not so big as. Did you know that you're not supposed to say as after a negative? This is as big as that, but it's not so big as that. If you say not as big as that, then you're a non-standard speaker. Well, that's baloney, of course, because every upper middle class person I know says not as big as, and so therefore it's standard English. But see why it's so hard to define? You don't have a repository for it. So all you can do is go to a local area and say, well, this guy didn't double negate, or or whatever, or didn't use double modals, or whatever's bad in that territory. You might could do that. You ought to should, in fact. I'm a double modal speaker. Which interestingly, among well-educated persons in many parts of the South, is not a shibboleth at all. You say, I might could do that. You wouldn't write it, but you certainly say it, and nobody would make fun of you. But you come up above Route 40, start saying greasy, and might could, and also, you know the greasy line runs right through town. If you go south of the greasy line, people say greasy, and if you go north of the greasy, of course the line's not that sharp, is it? But I always like to come to Route 40, old U.S. Route 40, because it's the greasy. Us dialectologists know of it as the greasy line. Because we have greasy stuff, and we grease, but the noun is grease. But north of the line, you have greasy stuff, and the noun is grease, but the verb is even to grease, which sounds really funny to me. You grease stuff, you don't grease it. You got any greasy speakers here? Anybody got greasy? You a greasy speaker? Use greasy kid stuff on your hair? No, that's called mousse now. When I was a kid, it was greasy kid stuff. Anything else?
Oh, I think it's about time to release our speaker.